The mid-19th century, a time of rapid expansion and restless movement. As the United States grew, it turned its eyes westward, towards the vast plains and towering mountains. This was the era of manifest destiny, a belief that the spread of American settlers across the continent was both inevitable and just. Yet this expansion brought conflict, as the settlers' path crossed with those of the indigenous tribes who called these lands home. In the heart of this tumultuous period, in the year 1851, representatives of the United States government and leaders of several Great Plains tribes gathered at Fort Laramie, a military post in present-day Wyoming. Their goal? To negotiate a treaty that would bring peace to the region and define the territories of the tribes. In the immediate aftermath of the Treaty of Fort Laramie, a sense of relative peace descended upon the Great Plains. The defined territories provided a buffer zone between the indigenous tribes and the westward-moving settlers. The tribes retained control over their lands, while the United States gained safe passage for settlers and the right to build roads and forts. However, this tranquility proved to be fleeting. The discovery of gold in the Black Hills, a region promised to the Lakota tribe, ignited a gold rush. Thousands of prospectors flooded into the area, violating the terms of the treaty. The government's failure to uphold the treaty's terms led to increased tensions and eventually the outbreak of the Great Sioux War. The long-term effects of the Treaty of Fort Laramie are still felt today. The treaty, while initially seeming to protect indigenous rights, ultimately led to the loss of vast amounts of tribal land. The broken promises and subsequent conflicts paved the way for the reservation system, which continues to affect the lives of indigenous peoples in the United States. To summarize, the Treaty of Fort Laramie, while initially bringing a semblance of peace, ended up being a catalyst for conflict. Its immediate impact was a temporary reduction in hostilities, but the long-term effects included the violation of treaty terms, increased tensions, and the establishment of the reservation system. Despite its noble intentions, the treaty became a symbol of the broken promises and injustices faced by indigenous tribes during the era of westward expansion. The echoes of these impacts continue to resonate in the ongoing struggle for indigenous rights and land sovereignty. We would love some of your feedback on this highly sensitive subject. What are your thoughts about the injustice and treatment of the colonial expansion to the West?